Hey, Crowley here. Today is July 11th. Can you believe it? It's only 2 months till hunting season starts. And I've still got a whole lot to get accomplished here. This week, I'm going to talk about the follow through. I'm still struggling with that a little bit. But also, I'm going to be talking about changing things up. Moving your targets around, shooting in the evening, that sort of thing, different positions. And I'm also going to be covering some more safety issues. Also, I'm going to be shooting at 45 yards and 50 yards. So you want to make sure to stick around to see how that goes. I haven't shot at 50 yards at all. I don't know if the pin is even close to being on. It ought to be interesting. I'm going to start off shooting at the 20-yard target, and I'm just going to do the top 3 circles there in the middle. And I have been getting a little bit more consistent with that. I can usually keep at least 5 out of 6 and usually 6 out of 6 inside the circle. If you look at it, and I'll throw a couple of pictures up here just so you can get an idea of what I've done over the week here. If you look at this one picture, there's 2 arrows on that top left circle. And believe it or not, the second one was supposed to hit the right side. I don't know what I did, but when I pulled the release on that, I jerked the bow right over and hit the one on the left side. Anyway, let's shoot 3 arrows. And as usual, no practice rounds there. This is the first time I shot this morning, so we'll see how this goes. Alright, let's go take a look. Now, that certainly isn't spectacular. Only 1 out of the 3. If you were aiming for center mass there, those would all be kill shots, but I certainly need to do better than that. You know, if you're off a half an inch or an inch at 20 yards, how far off are you at 40 or 45 or 50? I've got well over 1,000 rounds into that bag target now, and I'm ready to do the review, except for I'm waiting for a replacement bag there. These targets, you can get replacement bags there that just slide right over them, and I wanted to get that to include it in the review. I don't need to change it yet there, but I just thought it'd be something that people would be interested in to see how that works, whether it just slides right in or if it's a pain or whatever. You know, I'm still struggling a little bit first thing in the morning when I first get started there, getting everything tuned in. It's getting a little bit better there, but I definitely have some work to do with that. This whole follow-through thing, it seems like such a simple thing to do. All you got to do is pull up, focus on where you want that arrow to hit, and as you pull the trigger, keep on looking at it and watch the arrow go there and hit the target. Why can't I get that in my head? I mean, when I do it right, I know the second I release the arrow, I can see the arrow go and it hits right where it's supposed to hit. But I also know when I do it wrong, the second I release the trigger, that wasn't right. I don't know. I guess just something that takes time to get down. You wouldn't think so. I mean, it's pretty basic. Let's do 25 yards. That was a pretty good group, I think. You know, one thing I've noticed, that when I pull this up, that fletching right there hits me right on the lip. But some of the arrows, it doesn't. And when it doesn't connect to my lip, it throws me off like something's wrong. And what I'm wondering is, the way these nocks go into that is supposed to be lined up so that that white fletching is straight up and down, even with the bowstring. And I'm wondering if some of those nocks aren't turned just a little bit so that that fletching isn't hitting my lip. I don't know. It's just something that I think about when I'm shooting. Anything that doesn't feel right when you draw back, you know, you assume you're not getting something right, you know. Let's go take a look. Now that's more like it. Got two right where they're supposed to be, and that other one is, I'd say, just about an inch off. Did you notice on the target there how them two arrows are right side by side? That is a good segue into my little safety speech of the week. When your arrows get close to touching like that, and let me throw this picture in there of the deer. Those two arrows aren't actually even that close, but when the arrow come in, because that target tips down when you hit it with the first arrow, the second arrow was at a different angle, and when it came in, it broke, let me see, the nock. When you retrieve your arrows, you should always do a quick inspection of them. Give them a little bend there, make sure that there's nothing wrong with them. And this one here, see that? I don't know, it split just a little bit on the edge, and it's not that easy to see unless you're looking for it. So make sure you check your arrows out. You know, if you drive one into the ground there, flex it, make sure the tip is all right, and that your nock is all right. You know, those nocks aren't that expensive, and sometimes there'll be just a little crack. If you draw that thing back and that thing explodes when that string releases, it might not be good. So make sure you're checking these things out, that they're okay before you shoot them. Next up is 30 yards, and as you can see, I've got my bone collector on a different side there. It's the vital shot, and I'm going to aim right for the top edge of the heart. Notice the number 4 broke the nock. Had to change it. No more orange nock for the number 4. Follow through. Well, it's a little better. I just wanted to mention, I did finally do the review on the bone collector there. If you're interested in that there, it's on my YouTube channel there. You can go check that out if you're interested. You know, for 35 bucks, I think it's a pretty good deal. It's a pain in the butt to pull out the arrows, there's no question about that. And once you get it softened up, it isn't quite as bad there. But overall, I think it's held up pretty good. I'm sure it's got 1,500, 2,000 arrows I've put through it already, and it's still working all right. let's go take a look. Well, that certainly isn't spectacular. I don't miss at 35 yards very often. I'm talking about the vital zone there, and that one definitely is not in a good spot. So if you notice there, the bear, I've put a pretty extreme angle on that. I don't know how many of you have shot much of the bear there, but their vitals are kind of tucked up in between the front legs. So you really want that angle. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but to get a good kill shot. And I had to turn the target around there because I didn't want to just keep on shooting on one side all the time there. So when I turned it around, I moved one of the pins there to give it an angle. And you'd be surprised at that difference, you know, that different angle, how much it affects how you shoot. I was doing pretty good with the thing at a perfect 90-degree angle from me, getting some pretty nice groups. And when I turned that thing, it's just giving me the horrors. I'll shoot low. I'll shoot too far back. I'll shoot too far forward. It's amazing how little things can affect your shooting. So that's something that you should be changing up there. You know, turn your targets a little bit. Instead of always shooting 3 or 6 at one target, shoot 1 at one target, then shoot 1 at another target, then go back to a different one. So you're used to going from one pin to another pin and then back to another one. And one thing I did this week is I'd aim it for like the 30-yard target, and before I shot, I'd just swing and shoot at the 20-yard target or the 25-yard target. And you'd be amazed at how much that messes you up. So make sure you're mixing things up there a little bit there so that, you know, when you get out in the woods, they're not all going to be right in a certain order, and you're not going to shoot 3 at one, 3 at another. You know, that deer might start out at 30 yards, and by the time you get a shot, he might be at 20. So those are all things that you should be working on. Or at least I'm going to anyway. Okay, let's do 35. Let's see if I can get this right. I really have been struggling with this quite a bit. Not bad. And you'd be amazed. That second shot that I think was a little too far back, with that kind of angle there, we'll go down and look at it there, but it's probably in the kill zone. First two there, the bottom two, were a little low. I mean, I believe they're still right in the kill zone there. That top one is a marginal shot for sure. But if you look at the angle and where it's going to go on the backside, let's look at it from the backside. Even that one that's back further there is going to go through the lungs. Like I said, the other two might be a little on the low side. So the does are starting to bring their fawns with them there when they go out to feed. So I've been doing a little videotaping there to get them on film. If you want to check that out there, you can go over to my page on Facebook there, Pine State Hunter there, and check out the videos there. I got one crazy video there of a gray fox and a deer encounter there. It's a little long to put on here, but if you want to make sure to check that out there, it's pretty interesting. So anyway, we're on to the 40-yard target, and some days I do pretty good with the 40 yards, and some days not so good. Even Day before yesterday, I was actually doing better at 40 than what I was at 35. I don't know why, but we'll see how today goes. Certainly not the group I was looking for. Let's go take a look. This is where I usually aim for, right here. So according to the picture there, I got them all in the kill zone, but I definitely don't like them too. So as you can see from some of these pictures, I'm more than capable of putting in some pretty decent groups at 40 yards, but I'm also capable of missing big. And I probably shouldn't even worry about 45 and 50 yards, but I get bored. And I probably won't do a whole lot of shooting at that range, but as you can see, it's quite a ways back up in there. We'll see how this is going to go. Now, back to my pins. I only have 4 pins, so I'm using the 40 yard pin for 45 yards. And I've tried it on the deer target going back another 5 yards there to see how it's going to hit. And if I aim right for the top of the insert, maybe just a little bit above it, I hit in the kill zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim right for the top edge of the top circle and see where I hit. And we'll go from there. I'm going to shoot 3 times. You know, the follow through on that I felt pretty good about. I don't know how bad they're going to look when we get down there, but let's go take a look. It ain't great, but I ain't going to complain about that for just starting out halfway near a decent group there for 45 yards and not practicing much. I'll have to shoot a little bit more there to see if that's right where I need to be aiming with that 40 yard pin at 45 there, but I'd say I'm in a ballpark. And one thing I forgot to mention is back on the 40 yard target, I was noticing that I was shooting low quite a bit. And I wasn't sure if it was just because I wasn't following through, because when I don't follow through, a lot of times them arrows are 3-4 inches low consistently. So I put that bone collector beside the deer, and I don't know how many times I shot. I shot over and over and over, and finally I came to the conclusion that the pin needed to be lowered a little bit so I could bring those arrows up. And when I did, I started hitting a little bit better than what I was before. And what I'm going to do for the 50 yard, I'm going to start out at the 45 with my 50 yard pin, and I'm going to aim for the very bottom edge of the bottom target and see where it hits, because I have no idea where that 50 yard pin is at, and then we'll go from there on how I'm going to aim at the 50 yard. So let's try her out. I'm going to go look at that. I think it's pretty close. Well, I'm definitely in the ballpark. Of course, it was only one arrow, but it was just about 2 inches to the right of that bottom thing, and it was right in line with it. So let's try 50. Think I'm going to be able to find my arrows when I get done. Hit the target. I don't know if I did that time or not. Let's go take a look. Well, that's why that second arrow sounded funny there, because it hit the first one. It might be shooting a little low, or it might just be me. Well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm guessing that that pin needs to go down a little bit more so I can bring them arrows up where they're supposed to be, but I'll have to do a little more shooting to figure that out one way or the other. It could be that I felt like the shots were good there, but I might not have been following through, and that's why they were dropping, but I guess time will tell. And here's my dilemma. Now, number one, I got no business shooting at that distance the way I'm shooting right now anyway, but come kill season, is it even ethical to shoot out there 40, 45, 50 yards? You know, even if you're driving tacks, you know, I've seen a lot of videos where deer jump the string there. You know, I'd hate to think I messed up a deer there, making a shot I shouldn't even be trying there. So that's something I guess I'm going to have to think about, and maybe talk to some other bow hunters and see what their experience has been at those longer yardages. I really shouldn't even be worrying about it. I'm not even close to being able to shoot at that. You know, at 30 yards, I missed one this morning. I haven't been doing that, but it only takes one bad shot, I guess. So anyway, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you watching, and like I said, if you're interested in those short videos there, make sure to check out my Facebook page there, Pine State Hunter. With that, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for watching.